It's true what they say about love driving you insane. And, like many young lovers, Jodi and Travis were head over heels in love. Yet there was a point in their lives when nothing could have prepared them for what happened next. Many were shocked to their cores in 2008 when they learned of the horrors that occurred at Travis's residence. The Jodi Arias case is a horrific tale of heartache, cruelty, and remorselessness. Was it love, hate, or jealousy? And did the cops track down the actual culprit? Sit back as we explore the case in further detail and reveal the contents of every piece of information. Travis was born on July 28, 1977, to Gary David Alexander and Pamela Elizabeth Morgan Alexander in Riverside, California. Travis was born to a large and happy family, but unfortunately, when Travis was just 11 years old, his father passed away. So Travis and his 7 siblings went to live with their grandmother at her home. While staying there, Travis was introduced to the Latter-day Saints Jesus Christ, and as a result, he became a Mormon. Travis was leading a pretty normal life. He was a motivational speaker and salesman for Prepaid Legal, a multi-level marketing organization situated in Mesa, Arizona. And it was here in September 2006 when Travis first met Jodi. Jodi had just begun her new job as a salesperson there, and the two met during a business convention in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was love at first sight for the two, and they hit it off right away. Jodi became deeply in love with Travis, and the two spoke almost every day on the phone. So much so that in only 5 months, their email count surpassed 80,000. Jodi Ann Arias was born in Salinas, California on July 9, 1980, to William and Sandra Arias. She had a typical upbringing. She dropped out of school after the 11th grade to pursue her ambition of photography. Nevertheless, reality had other plans for her, and her hopes were dashed. She then met Travis, and because Travis was a Mormon, he could only date people who shared his beliefs. Jodi recognized this fact. Therefore, she became a member of the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and was baptized by Travis in September 2006. Following that, the two began an official relationship in February 2007. They both appeared to be happy and in a loving relationship. But only 5 months later, Travis broke up with Jodi. This upset her greatly, since she still loved Travis, but he didn't feel the same way. Thus, they ended their relationship in June of 2007. Travis saw it as simply another relationship ending, but Jodi, she had other plans. She relocated to Mesa, Arizona, following their split to be closer to Travis. This only complicated their friendship because, while they were not dating, they were still sexually active. They both continued their sexual connection, but it wasn't simply because they had to deal with a number of setbacks. Travis began to move on after Jodi showed up uninvited at his residence in the middle of the night. He displayed interest in other women, which made Jodi jealous. As a result, the two were frequently at odds. They still traveled together for vacations and business trips, but Travis kept it a secret from his friends. Travis's friends who knew Jodi and witnessed them together tended to have a bad impression of her, noting that the relationship was exceptionally stormy and that Jodi's behavior was concerning. Travis would often tell his friends about Jodi's actions. Travis's car tires were once slashed and he had his Facebook account hacked. Jodi, on the other hand, remained clueless, writing in her diary about how she and Travis were supposed to be together forever. Even after relocating to California, Jodi remained invested in Travis. Then came June 4, 2008. Travis was not returning calls or texts, and he even skipped an important conference call that morning. No one could reach him, and as the hours turned into days, everyone became concerned for him, so they decided to pay him a visit. Travis's friends went to his home several days later, on June 7th. Travis's roommate was there when they arrived, and he too had no idea where Travis was. But he assumed Travis was out of town because his bedroom door was also locked. They all looked for the key to his room, and when they found it, they walked inside and discovered the heinous deed. Large pools of blood greeted them all in the corridor leading to Travis's bathroom. Travis's dead body was discovered in the shower, covered in blood. He had been stabbed 27 times, shot in the head with a .25 caliber round, and had his throat lacerated. cutting his trachea, jugular vein, and common carotid artery. Travis's friends couldn't stand it any longer and ran out. They immediately dialed 911 and recounted what had happened. When asked whether they had any suspicions, everyone referred to Jodi Arias. When the police called Jodi the following day, she appeared to be devastated and told them that she hadn't seen Travis since April that year. But the investigators weren't convinced by this account and began looking into Jodi, which is when things started to get interesting. The investigator discovered that Jodi had rented a car on June 2nd from Redding, California, which is only 100 miles south of where she was living with her grandparents. Jodi also asked her ex-boyfriend, Daryl Brewer, if she could borrow 2 5-gallon gas canisters a few days before. Even more, she bought a third 5-gallon gas canister from a nearby store. Later that evening, Jodi used her MasterCard to buy 8 gallons of gasoline. Then 4 minutes later, she used cash to buy an additional 9 gallons of gasoline. Travis's digital camera was discovered completely shattered and damaged at the murder site. This was strange because Travis had just bought the camera, and it was even stranger that the photos were lost from it. Fortunately, the police were able to retrieve the pictures anyway. The images showed Travis and Jodi in intimate postures. Then at 5:29 p.m., Travis was captured in one photograph while still alive. Travis was last seen in this photograph while still alive because a few minutes later another picture was taken of him, this time with blood all over him. The photograph also included the shoe of the probable murderer. This was afterwards compared to ensure that the photo was accurately captured and that it was really Jodi's shoe. The murderer even made an effort to clean up the crime scene by attempting to eliminate any incriminating evidence. They did this by washing down the surfaces and Travis's bludgeoned body. Yet Travis's murderer left a mark, just like all killers do. The bloody handprint left by his murderer on the wall was left unwiped. The handprint's DNA was extracted, and it was later discovered that both Travis and Jodi's DNA was present. By this time, the identity of the murderer, Jodi, had been confirmed by the police. Jodi drove to Mesa, Arizona in the direction of Utah after killing Travis. She went there to meet her new lover, Ryan Burns, and to fabricate an alibi for the occasion. Ryan and his friends couldn't help but notice that Jodi had dyed her hair dark and was wearing bandages on her hands when she came there. She concocted a story about being a pizza cook and said that the cuts were caused while cutting pizza. Later that day, near West Jordan, Utah, a police officer stopped Jodi. She was driving a rented car. The vehicle's front license plate was missing and the back plate was upside down. When asked about it, Jodi told the police that perhaps some of the children at the Starbucks where she had earlier stopped were responsible for it. After that, on June 7, 2008, Jodi returned to California in her rental car. She had to pay a hefty fine since she claimed to just be using the car locally, despite having driven it 2,800 miles and missing all of its floor mats. The front and back of the car were also stained. Unfortunately, the car had already been thoroughly cleaned when the cops arrived to inspect it. Jodi approached the police to provide whatever assistance she could, and she even consented when they requested a sample of her DNA. A match was found in the returned DNA. The police investigation in California had additional information to contribute to the story as this was happening. On May 28th, Jodi's grandparents reported finding a large amount of missing items in their home. A .25 caliber handgun was also missing from the pile of stolen goods. An intriguing aspect was that a .25 caliber handgun was discovered at Travis's house, back at the crime scene. And more interestingly, the bullets matched. A grand jury in Maricopa County, Arizona indicted Jodi on July 9, 2008 for the first-degree murder of Travis. 6 days after her arrest, she was taken into custody from her home, and on September 5th, she was transferred to Arizona. Jodi pretended to be completely uninformed of what had happened to Travis and refused to accept any blame for killing him. Jodi attempted to change the narrative and subsequently told authorities that 2 intruders had entered Travis's house, killed him, and assaulted her. 2 years after being detained, Jodi told authorities that she killed Travis out of self-defense after experiencing domestic abuse. In order to contribute to her story, Jodi decided to represent herself before the trial even started. She sent letters to the court after that, alleging that Travis had written them. When Jodi saw her scheme wasn't working, she reactivated her defense team. These letters were later shown to be forgeries. The first day of her trial was December 12, 2012. The death penalty was brought up by the prosecutor during the opening statement. Jennifer Wilmot, the appointed attorney for Jodi, argued that Travis's killing was a justified homicide that was committed in self-defense. Following that, the trial lasted for another 5 months, at which time Jodi's 18-month testimony was important. Jodi would assert during her testimony that she assisted Travis with his sexual compulsions towards young boys and girls, and that he was sexually attracted to them. She even claimed that he was physically and emotionally violent. She said that on the day of his murder, he body slammed her to the ground before kicking her in the ribs. She also said that she had been coerced into snapping those arousing photos of Travis in the shower, but she accidentally dropped the camera, causing Travis to become agitated, which frightened Jodi. So she killed him in self-defense. But on May 8th, after 15 hours of deliberation, Jodi Arias was found guilty of Travis Alexander's first-degree murder. The jury was unable to decide whether to impose a death penalty when sentencing started in 2013 and again in 2014. Jodi was formally sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of release on April 15, 2015.